Hello, 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 and welcome to the Rag Company Podcast. I'm Dane Hennen. To my right, Levi Gates.
Hey guys, what's happening?
Across from me, Anthony Fisher.
Burr, it's cold in here.
It's chilly.
And to my left, Morgan McMurray.
Hey guys.
What's up,
And
dude?
we are the Rag Company Podcast. So, guys, it's been a weekend, you know,
Quite a
chilly
nice,
around.
quite a nice weekend. Fall has
Yeah.
finally arrived
Yeah.
to
I
Boise.
love it when that happens.
I've noticed.
I love it.
It's much colder.
big-
I just
big rainstorm.
love it.
Big rainstorm,
Some hail.
Yeah.
Some hail.
Freak storm.
loud thunder.
I worked the store on Saturday when it hit, and had a customer in the store, and he stayed in the store extra long just so he wouldn't have to go out. And
Oh yeah,
it
that's,
was pretty intense.
people were getting electrocuted.
Really?
I don't know. I was just guessing that.
Oh, I heard trees went down though. So
No, so I was working on a car on Saturday morning, and I heard the thunder through my headphones.
Wow.
that's
And
when
I
you
was
know
like,
it's bad.
Holy crap! And then my
Wow.
dog went crazy. He was barking so loud. He did not like it, but he didn't want to go outside either.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Watson wanted to fight the
Yeah.
thunder,
Wow.
but he was also terrified of it.
Fighting
at the same
lightning.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you on
Good
that.
times.
Yeah.
So-
It was a crazy storm, though. We had tons of power poles fall down.
Really? Over
Um,
in your neck of the woods out there in Nampon?
No, it happened in Boise.
Oh, yeah, I didn't have any of that.
Yeah,
This is
there's
actually-
people without power. A lot
Yeah,
of people in
over
Needle didn't have power.
Maple Grove and Overland. all
West Boise.
Yes,
Mhm.
West Boise. And a lot of...
Levi's an elitist. He considers
Over
West
there.
Boise to
I'm
be like,
over
oh,
in-
that other.
Yeah, it's
part
by
of
the
Boise.
mall. So I
The
call it.
real Boise's in the east.
It's out there by the mall. Out-
He's like
out
by
of
the river.
Yeah.
One
Ever-
time Levi
ever
got
heard of the
mad
river?
at me for saying that the St. Alphonsus was downtown.
Yeah, it's not downtown.
He said, no, that is not. And I said, well, it's off the freeway.
To him, if it's not at the end of the connector, it's not downtown.
Yeah, it's got to
I
be at the
see.
end.
This
of
is
the
a bunch of local inside baseball that nobody else cares about. But
What
we
can
do.
What can I
so
say? I'm
there's that.
I'm a true-born native, Boisean, and I'm proud of my city.
Really sounds like a gatekeeper to me.
Well, you know, my last name is Gates, and
that's a good point.
If you
Oh, geez,
trace the
Dane,
lineage
why
of
don't
that
you
name,
open?
Look at that.
my family were the gatekeepers,
Of Boise?
so to speak.
Yeah.
And my family has lived in the city of trees for well on nigh 100 years.
Today I learned.
And
So,
But it's unfortunate that out of all those 100 years, they weren't able to attain a house on Warm Springs.
true, that did not happen.
I mean, it's Harrison
That's-
Boulevard and Warm Springs.
That-
Those
nigh
are
on
the
100 years, we did not attain that. No.
Would
beyond.
have been nice, but it
Would have been
didn't
pretty
happen.
awesome.
Those are streets straight out of a movie. Like they
Yeah.
look like the quintessential.
Yeah, it would have been.
movie
These are getting
streets.
very warm.
Those
You're
are,
right,
and,
Dane,
and
it's
for
up to
people
me and
for people
you.
that don't know, those are
We're gonna
million,
stick this
million
out.
dollar
You
I'm
homes.
know
going to
what?
stick
Yeah.
it out.
Mitten 5.
No,
Right.
but anyway, it was a good weekend.
Yeah.
What did you guys do?
What did I do? So I went and I think right off the bat,
We got the new shoes
I
on the on your wife's car.
Yes, yeah.
Mhm.
So Friday night I coated Katie's new wheels, her new TRD wheels for the 4Runner. So I coated those, and Friday was pretty chill. It was pretty relaxed. Saturday morning we woke up, dropped her car off at Discount Tire, and we went out to breakfast. Got the wheels on, and they look awesome. They look super cool. I think for some reason those wheels just make the car look beefier, and
even
there's-
though you put the stock tires back on.
even with the stock tires, like even the guys there said it looks weirdly meatier with even the stock tires. And I said, I know it'll look a lot cooler once we get some actual like.
When you get like some Maxxis Razor MTs on there.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna look really good.
It'll look super cool. So and Katie's excited. She says, when can we get new tires? I'm like, well, I don't want to toss yours because they're in such good
shape.
They're
They're
still brand
like
new.
less than a year old.
So-
Your wallet's just going, please, no more.
Yeah, I'm like, there's no reason to toss them. So I do need to figure out what to do with her stock wheels because she's like, do we keep these? I'm like, I have no reason to keep these
Put
stock.
them on, sell them.
Put them
4Runner
on
wheels.
a Toyota group. Somebody will want them.
I just there's nothing wrong with them. I just don't think we need them. So
Yeah.
got those wheels on. So they are coated. Testing in a new coating just to see how well it holds up,
Yep.
and I'm excited to see how it does. And the rest of the day, Saturday, I spent the whole day cleaning out the garage and trying to get things organized. We're going to have a garage sale this coming weekend. We were going to
Okay.
have it last weekend, but you saw the weather on Saturday.
So
It
this
was-
is gonna be the Fisher household
So
first
are you
annual
guys-
garage sale.
Are you guys allowed to have garage sales whenever you want?
yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't aware there was a law against it. Or
Sometimes
a
at
rule
an
against it.
HOA,
Yeah,
they
in my
put
in my
holes
parents'
on there.
neighborhood, there's one weekend a year that they're allowed to have garage sales.
You're
Because they don't.
kidding me.
Well,
That's
it's
it.
traffic
And
into the neighborhood. They don't.
It's a neighborhood garage sale. Everyone does it all at once.
Is this a neighborhood with a gate at the front?
No.
No, it's
Okay.
just an HOA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
An overbearing HOA. Those
my
are the
neighborhood
fun
is
ones.
small
Everyone-
Well, all of
enough.
our fences also have to be the same color, so.
Yeah,
Barf.
I don't see anything wrong with it. I can have Katie double check, but the other weird part is that I have never seen anybody in our subdivision do a garage sale in the first place.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe this is the first one. It's such a new subdivision. I don't know.
I'm sure it's like an elitist thing, like, we don't need to sell our old things. We'll just buy new things.
Yeah, that's not gonna really work like that.
I'd at least check, just make sure.
And we'll
Yeah.
throw them
So-
away.
It's worth
because-
it.
We're gonna
love
be
waste.
so going through the garage. It's just crazy because
So what are some of these
trying
items?
to make money
Let's
off your
give us
old things. How sad.
So let's give us a preview.
yeah.
Some of the items you can pick up at
Yeah.
the Fisher family first annual garage sale.
Yeah, I
Oh,
want to
man.
know.
From the
I
Fishers.
So we're
I
getting
love it.
rid
What are some of
of
the great items that you can pick up this weekend if you head over to Anthony's house?
So we're getting rid of, oh gosh, I don't even know where to start. Lots of normal like house decor stuff, right?
Oh,
So
okay, fun.
basically,
Decor.
a lot of nice decor, mirrors, picture frames,
Wonderful.
faces,
Beautiful.
things like that.
Faces.
Vases,
Oh.
full-on
Vases,
faces.
okay.
That we've-
Any like, musical instruments
Yeah.
or autographed pictures or anything of that nature.
Oh, that would be
just-
great.
That would be really
Oh.
cool. I feel like if I found
Give you
those at a garage
$5.
sale, I would be blown away.
Dane's bringing up a story right now that
I feel like this is a story that needs to
I
be
think
told.
I can tell here after I explain the weekend.
Yeah.
Let's finish.
Um,
Finish
yeah,
the.
yeah. Finish your
some of
first
the
bit.
items.
Yeah.
So some of the items, I mean, basically decor stuff, right? But I think Katie
Are
has
there
really
going to be any motorcycles for sale?
no motorcycles.
How about
but,
dogs?
No dogs either.
Okay.
How
So-
about Evos? Because
there gonna be an Evo for sale?
It's not
No. All
going
right.
out there for sale now.
All right.
Well, I
so
saw it
mostly
out.
home goods.
I was amazed too. I saw a picture of
clothes.
it
Are there going to
out
be
in the
clothes,
wild.
books,
Crazy.
I'm
axes,
I am not big on
hatchets?
selling clothes at garage sales. I'm
Okay,
just not.
accoutrements,
I think-
and housewares?
Just go to Savers for that.
Housewares, yes. I think some stuff like that. I think that there is going to be a couple of musical things, and then I have a ton of like trinkets, like things that are like small but like are worth probably something. Like let's just say Bluetooth headphones that I've never worn, but they are nice. They don't fit my ears right.
Sure.
Things like that.
Did
maybe,
you already
maybe like,
advertise for this garage sale? Too?
It's actually going to be going out probably this this Friday or not. Sorry, not Friday. This maybe Wednesday. I'm going to make a post on Craigslist.
Now, I'm
Very
curious, just because knowing how your neighborhood is laid out, your house is laid out, garage sale, are you actually going to have people
Not the
coming up
garage,
to your
no.
garage?
Front of
no.
the house.
So
Yard.
front of the house.
Front of the
Okay.
So a
yeah.
yard sale.
Because
Yeah.
it's an alley load house.
Yeah.
So it's
And
a little...
There's nowhere for people to park there, so it has to be in the front.
Right.
So we'll do it on the front, and I think we're just gonna lay out maybe some tarps. I have some shelving. I have some garage racking that I just need to get rid
Oh,
of.
wow, very interesting.
Garage
and-
racking. So
Yeah.
garage items.
So yeah, tons. There's actually gonna be quite a few garage items, and I think outside of that, I think the funnest part about a garage sale is like the night before, when you're getting everything like kind of prepared and laid out and tagged and everything, and then you kind of start looking around the house like,
What else can I
Yeah,
sell?
what else can I sell that I don't really use? Because
Well, knowing you especially, like that's where your head goes anytime you're selling stuff. You're like, what
That's when the
else?
Evo gets pulled out on the front lawn.
Oh,
Well,
The price
It
tag.
takes 15
But-
for it.
sinks in the mud.
It's just part of the sale. I got to get rid of
$5.
It just the organization
Free.
stuff needed to happen anyways though,
Yeah.
because that was like one thing that
Helps
we've just
clear
been
it out.
holding. Here's the deal.
Are you
the,
going to sell
the
brownies?
crap I'm finding in that
Lemonade?
garage. So Katie, what she does is she does this thing where she, if she cleans out her car every once in a while, right, she'll throw it in like a bin,
Yeah.
and she'll say, "I'll worry about that later."
Right.
Well, the bin goes on a shelf. Forget about the bin. So I
this haunts me because I've done that.
So I pull this bin down and I start going through it. Right. I'm not kidding when I say this. Right. I found 20 gift cards in there. Right. For everything. Right. I found Visa credit cash cards. You know, the ones the preloaded cash cards.
Yeah.
I say,
And they don't expire.
I say, Katie, what is all this stuff? She's like, oh, that was from the work thing. They were passing these things out, and I forgot about it. And I'm like, I would not forget about this kind of stuff because this is a Jimmy John's gift card for $50. And I'm like,
You're like, this would
I
last
would-
me 1 week.
I'm like,
Jimmy
I
John's.
could have been
If that.
using this. What have you done? So she just doesn't. she forgets stuff like that, and I don't understand how. But
So are we going to have Jimmy John's gift cards and Visa cash cards
I
available
hope.
at this
We'll see.
yard sale as well?
We'll see. But no, we're going to get ready. We're going to sell our couch. We're selling some cabinets, some dressers. What we're doing is we're clearing. We have a guest bedroom.
Yeah.
It gets used. It's gotten used twice in 6 months. So we're going to do this thing where
Boy, if I
we
got an idea
build a
for
nursery.
you. A
Where-
mail room.
Oh my God. No.
When
got
you
a
got
lot
a
of
guest
mail.
room and
Dane's
you
got a
need
lot
a
of
place
mail.
to put the things that she pulls out of her cars and puts into bins, get some banker's boxes, just load up that room, make it look like a hoarder's paradise.
what we're going to do is we have a queen size bed in there, right?
Yeah.
Don't use it. So we're going to get rid of that, get rid of the dresser. What we're going to do is we're actually going to get one of those pull-out couch type of bed. That way it's a
Futon.
usable
A
room.
hideaway,
That,
yeah.
that when people stay with us once a year, they can still sleep there, but for the most
You'll be
part...
uncomfortable, but it's also not,
Yeah.
It's not
any big
so
deal, so.
I spent a lot of time going through that stuff, and then I'm trying to think on Sunday, ran some errands, did a couple shopping, trying to find some cheap clothes, 'cause I got rid of a ton of clothes. I'm trying to tell Katie that she's shrinking my clothes in the dryer, but she's saying that I think you've just gotten bigger. And I'm meeting her halfway. I'm
Okay,
meeting her that
alright.
maybe I have gained a little bit of weight, right?
Oh.
But also, I think our dryer setting is set to too high, and it's shrinking some of our
Oh,
stuff.
that is so sad.
Okay.
That's a fun conversation.
I
to
am
have.
losing weight, and so my pants are just getting bigger.
That's a great problem.
So I put on this pair of pants I'm wearing today,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my gosh, let me get this belt out and cinch it up.
Ooh, I like that.
Kind of a strange, surprising thing for me.
Yeah. Well,
Felt,
got like-
felt good.
Got like a hammer time thing going on.
No, pants were slim fit in the first
Okay,
place.
they're not
so-
parachutes yet. All
no,
right.
they're good, but
Yeah.
just noticed they're just a little bit around the waist, a
Yeah.
little big. So
But
Yeah.
that was pretty much my weekend. I
Nice.
mean, it's
Well.
pretty much just organizing, going through stuff, ran a couple errands. Didn't do anything too fun or too exciting, but the wheels on Katie's car look awesome.
yeah,
and,
pictures
Yeah,
look
they
great of
do.
it.
Yeah.
It looks like every other Forerunner,
But like
Toy-
every
TRD Pro.
good-looking
But
Forerunner.
I just
yeah.
think that it looks really cool, and I'm excited to get some mud tires on those eventually because they look pretty mean. Again, I just can't be too invested in that car. I can't look too closely. I have to look from
Right.
5 feet away, otherwise I get upset. So
Yeah,
Well, I understand.
No, it's understandable. Now, about the things you probably won't be selling at your garage sale.
do you want me to tell this story?
I really want people to hear
Yes.
this because it is an amazing story.
Why don't let's get Morgan?
Not-
Oh, okay.
Morgan,
We'll
why don't you
tease it.
tell?
Moving along.
Because
Well,
we've
should
still
we quick
the
go
three of
through
us need to
our
do
weekends?
ours.
Yeah.
Let's quick go through our weekends. See
Let's.
what time we have. We apparently haven't started yet.
That's
It
okay.
says the
Wonderful.
Timer. So this weekend,
You got to go on a little adventure yourself.
I did go on a little adventure, and the fun part of it is that up until about Friday night, we didn't know what the adventure was going to be
Okay.
Ooh.
because basically a little bit of backstory is my friend's mom used to work in the accountancy department for Alaska Airlines. And so he has free flights wherever Alaska flies.
wow,
Snazzy.
what a gift!
Unlimited, basically.
Wonderful. Mhm.
And he also is gifted a certain amount of guest tickets, which only cost about $40 each way.
Yeah.
That he also can give to
Friends
people.
and acquaintances.
Yeah, yeah. So he was like, man, I just want to go somewhere this weekend. Like, we had a couple errands to run. And I was like, okay, well, like, I don't have anything going on Saturday. Like, we can go somewhere. So we were trying to decide, like, if we wanted to go to Seattle, if we wanted to go to somewhere in California, like, what we were going to have time for. Because, obviously, we had to take into account the different flight times. What would give us the most amount of time at our actual destination. So we wanted to find one with an early flight there and a late flight back. So we ended up going to Portland. I've never
Nice.
been to Portland.
Oh, Portland's great.
It is. It was pretty fun. It was a lot to take in within a small amount of time.
Yeah,
As well as me not really knowing anything about Portland and just like running around in the actual like downtown part. It's kind of crazy. 'Cause
keep it weird.
Yeah, keep Portland weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the appeal of that place.
Yeah. So I was kind of just, we were going with the flow. We didn't really have anything like set in stone that we needed to do. We were just mainly hanging out downtown. We found a really nice restaurant right when we got off. So like the Portland airport has like whatever those rail things are called.
Yeah.
Like a monorail.
Yeah, kinda, but like a train thing, whatever, the ones that just go-
Transit.
Yeah. So we got on one of those. I didn't really know like how that all worked. There's like little maps on there, and then you just get on and you get off when you want. So
Basically.
kind of crazy. What a new thing for me. We don't have that here in Boise.
Boise is lacking.
I don't even know if I've
that kind
honestly ever been on a city bus.
Ever.
Like
I mean, it's not a first thing you want to go for, but it's a fun experience.
It's not bad. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on the city you're in, it can be kind of fun.
yeah.
Just for the people watching.
So you guys
along.
hopped on this little tracks
Yep.
train and rode it into the city.
Yep.
And from there, what was your plan?
Well,
Sightseeing, donuts, coffee.
The food
we-
is one of the best things about Portland.
yeah, so we knew that we wanted to eat first because we pretty much, when we got to the Boise airport, we just got like a bagel.
And you got to
Yeah.
use your pre-check.
Ooh.
Well, actually, I didn't. Because you
Oh.
want to know why? So when he booked my ticket
Oh, he did it under himself.
that morning, well, he did it. It was like under him,
But he didn't
but
put your.
he didn't put my name in correctly.
Oh, nice.
Because he
Oh.
didn't put my like middle initial in, so he just put Morgan McMurray.
Yeah.
But he didn't put like my full legal
Yeah.
name in. So then he was like, "Oh," because I told him I was like, "I have pre-check, so we literally can get there like right before."
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
Sure.
And so I put in my known traveler number, and it wasn't loading that there was pre-check, but his was showing that there was pre-check, and I was like, "Oh my god." Well, we'll just like get there and see if like when we click the check-in thing, if it pops up on the boarding
Yeah.
pass. Well, it didn't. So he had pre-check because his was already good to
Yeah.
go. Pretty much, he just had to walk into the airport and he can go where he wants.
And you
And
got to go with the masses.
I
of
did.
humanity.
I did. So I had a really great time taking my shoes off. Obviously,
Fun.
like we didn't have bags or anything.
Yeah,
Like I literally
that's
was
just-
just bringing
that's funny.
like
Which just looks more suspicious. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're going. Okay.
yeah.
Day trip?
So I
Yeah.
did have to take my shoes off, which I was upset about, and then I had to put my shoes back on.
My favorite thing is that even though when Dane does have pre-check, he has to take his shoes off and his belt
Oh yeah,
off.
I'm always the
They always
suspicious
strip
one because
search
I'm the one
Dane
with all the
regardless.
wires and batteries and stuff in my bags. They're like, dude, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That was
one
that
day
was.
Dane will also learn the joys of being able to walk through a pre-check.
one
Right.
day.
Be
See,
nice.
and now that I have it, I'm like, well, I'm not going back now. Like, I don't want to
Right,
go through
yeah.
regular security
Yeah.
now. So I was like, this isn't even for me. Like,
Yeah.
I've gone through pre-check one time, and now I like have this like
Stigma.
ego.
sense of
Attached to
entitlement.
it.
A
I'm
sense
like,
of entitlement.
I'm like, no, I shouldn't be in this line. I need to go over there.
I have a known traveler number, folks.
Yeah, I'm like, wait.
turning into
I-
one of
let me show
those
you.
Five,
people.
7, 2. Man, that doesn't do anything here. 5, 7, 2, 3.
You really need to stop.
Yeah, but anyway, so we got through the security at Boise Airport, which honestly isn't bad.
No.
But I did want it to come back leaving the
Yeah.
Portland airport because it's an international airport, and
Yeah,
so
sure.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, whatever. We'll just make sure that it's on the next one. So we ate a bagel. We got on the plane. The plane was small. It was one of
It's
the
a
small
short
planes.
flight.
One of the regional jets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of the tiny little propeller ones. And there was hardly anyone on the plane, so they had to like space out the people.
Yeah, you have to for weight.
Yes, which I was like,
On smaller planes,
I
that's
was
always a
like-
fun part that'll trip you up if you've never been in that situation.
yeah, I was like, there's so many open seats. Why is there so many gaps? And he was like, oh, well, we have to make, the weight distribute. And I was like, okay. And then I see the propeller start going. And like, this was Saturday morning. Do you guys remember the weather
Oh,
on
yeah.
Saturday
Yeah.
morning?
Very dark
Yeah.
and stormy.
ominous.
So I'm, we're
So
getting
Morgan's
up.
like, I'm gonna die today.
yeah, I'm looking at this plane like, okay, that's fine,
this
I
plane
guess.
on this day.
Yeah. And let's say we did have a drink in the Boise airport because,
Well, you
Why
guys
not?
are of age.
yeah, we're 21. We're like, heck yeah. I don't know what that is.
Sorry, it seems to be one of our Australian Grand Ambassadors is calling through to my cell phone for some strange reason.
I don't think, I think that's,
Any rate,
Sorry.
well,
Didn't mean to
anyway.
interrupt you.
So, let's say the, peach bellini that I had mixed with the turbulence wasn't the best.
Oh.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
I immediately regretted making that decision.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I
Fair.
said, well, I'm
Turbulence
never-
on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad was it?
It was bad because it was just a tiny plane getting like thrown all around.
was it Denver bad?
No,
Okay.
Denver was not even like Denver was like more up and down, like just like it was like going like this.
Thing with Denver though is it always happens. It's like clockwork. It'll always.
But it wasn't
affect.
bad in Denver. It wasn't that bad. I expected worse.
You guys must have been lucky.
Yeah, and then this little tiny plane's getting thrown around, and I can't see anything either
Oh.
because it's so cloudy that it's just white all around.
Oh,
so I'm like
the best.
looking out, trying to get a sense of like
Is up still up? Is
yeah.
down still down?
I'm like, where what angle are
Yeah.
we turned at? Like how far in the sky are we? Can't see anything because it's just white. And I'm like, okay, so we're in heaven.
There you go.
And so whatever.
We already died.
They come on the little thing and they're like, well, the seatbelt sign's still on. Please remain seated. And then there was like, telling the flight attendants to like sit. And I'm
down.
like, oh, it's getting real. Whatever. We got over it. After we got, I think, up to our cruising altitude, it was better up there. And then we landed. We took the little train thing to get some food. We saw some crazy people.
Yeah, Portland's full of those.
Yeah. So there were some crazy people, but that was expected. And then we just did some shopping. We tried to go to Voodoo Donut, but we couldn't figure out really how to get there. I feel like that's like one of the staples, though, in Portland.
It's a staple, but honestly, I've never gone to it because I felt like it was one of those kind of played out places.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of great options in Portland
Yeah.
that people don't talk about half as much.
Yeah. So, and we went to the first place that we went to get food. I got it was basically what it was. It was a gourmet version of like an egg McMuffin.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like an English muffin with, like some ham.
Sure,
and
yeah.
then like a poached egg kind of thing. And I didn't really think about the fact that there was a poached egg in there. And I took a bite of it and the yolk exploded
Oh.
all over me
Oh.
and everything around me.
Oh, no.
So from that point on, I had egg yolk on me. And I was like, well, this is just what this is.
It's fun.
sounds like a great adventure.
Yeah.
Good.
So
Yoking out, man.
Get yoked.
Get yoked.
Get
I like
yoked.
that.
So there wasn't much else to it. We just kind of hung out for the day and then went back home. The flight home was
Smooth.
different because it was like an actual jet, with
Yeah.
like turbines and stuff, not propellers. And it was a little turbulent on the way home, but I think it was just because the freaking weather was so
Yeah.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
you
Saturday
survived it,
was
and that's
bad.
what matters.
Saturday was bad.
Saturday was bad. So, I was
Yeah.
seeing people's stories of all the
Oh, everybody
windstorm.
everywhere in the area was having a rough day some way or other.
Yeah, so I was like, well, great day to be in an airplane. So, yeah, that's what I did this weekend. And then Sunday, I was tired because obviously, like, we spent the entire day Saturday walking around and not really sitting.
So that was it.
that was pretty much it.
Nice.
Okay.
Relaxing.
Absolutely.
not
Dane,
bad.
you sold something this weekend.
Oh, I did. I
Oh,
finally
wow.
sold the Miata.
Wow. Can
Nice.
We get
All right.
So
And
there is now a
cash
Jag space.
exchanged.
Wow.
Oh.
Money exchanged
So
hands.
actual
title,
So
final sale.
unlike the Volvo, which
Actual
I
sale.
had agreed upon a price, and the kid was going to go get a loan, which you should never, trust outright because things happen. He
Right.
couldn't get that loan, so the Volvo didn't sell back then. But in this case, the guy had cash in hand, and I was actually a little bit bold about this because on Friday night I went home early, expecting to meet with someone else who wanted to look at the car, and I waited. And I waited some more, and I waited a little bit more,
Yeah.
and the guy never showed up.
Right.
So that
Was
was
he
cool.
supposed to come
And
to your house?
yes,
Oh,
and I
risky.
received a message around 8:00 that night
Well,
after being
they-
ready
they
at
could find his trash,
5:30
Yeah.
at the house,
mailroom.
and he explained to me because up to that point he'd been pretty punctual about replying to messages, and I thought it was kind of weird. He basically replied and said, "I'm so sorry. I was at work. Where I work, they don't let us take our phones into where we work, whatever, and I wasn't able to send a message. They made us work late. Normally, he says he gets off at like 3:30, so it was kind of unusual.
Yeah.
That's why I planned for like 5:30. I thought,
Right.
he'll be way done by then.
How convenient.
Yeah, so that didn't work out. But that guy basically missed out because on Saturday, as you had all the storminess and everything, great day to sell a convertible, right?
Oh.
Saturday was when a different guy came and looked at it, and he was one of those people where, as I was messaging him, I felt like this guy was going to be one of those irritating people. Like, you just know when you're talking to somebody through messages and you're like,
I hate this guy.
they're asking certain questions that you're just like, like, I am extremely forthright
He
when
wanted
I'm
to know
talking
what
about.
the true G-force was when taking a corner at 70 miles an hour in that Miata.
He wants to know what a
Based
quarter
on-
throttle feels like.
Based on the coilovers and or tire and wheel setup that Dane has added on that car.
What I love is
understand-
that Dane sold that car with bald tires.
No,
God,
racing
no.
slicks.
No. Oh, he had got new tires, didn't you?
I bought new tires like 3 months ago.
That's what it
for
was. Sorry, I thought you
It
were.
has
I thought,
new tires
I thought you were
on it.
still on those Dunlops.
No,
Oh, those things had no life in them.
no, those
Yeah.
things. Well, they weren't even. They're. What were they?
They were
Stickies.
They were Hancocks RS3s.
Yeah, they were. They were Hancocks. Yeah.
Okay, continue.
They were very nice. But they were old.
Yeah.
So I put new tires on it. They're still 195. So
Yeah.
for a little car like that, that's enough. For me.
195.
Well,
Little tiny tires.
I have a car now with basically 300s at the back. So
Yeah.
Yeah, Morgan. This isn't
Slight difference.
this isn't a tire measuring contest. Get out of here.
Well, you know
because
what they
I will
say.
slap everybody 6 ways to Sunday with that car. But any
Except
rate,
for the Suburban, you can't beat that one.
that's true.
He's not going to be able to beat it.
Yeah, but it's knobby. So, any rate, I don't know what that means.
I mean, I don't
So,
want it.
any
I
rate,
was
the
just talking
car.
in a race, not in tire size. I was just going to
Point being, another gentleman came by, and he actually ended up. This is one of those cases where it flipped on me. Like, I was expecting a certain kind of person to show up who was like one of those. But what about this? But what about this? Oh, well, I'm going to do some research on that. What kind of service records do you have for this? And it was that kind of person who sent you a
strange
million
accent.
messages. When he showed up, he was actually nothing like that. He was very
Oh.
cordial, very
Wow.
friendly.
So never judge a book by its
No,
cover.
exactly, or by their messages. Like,
Okay,
I'm very judgy about the way people write to me. I will judge them based
more
on the
you
way
know.
they
Judgy.
are writing.
Yeah.
So he ended up being not that, and I was impressed. And he was very nice, very punctual, and thoughtful. Just one of those people where you're like, this is the kind of person you do want to do.
What I liked
business
was
with.
that they came prepared to drive a car with no top.
Well, here's the thing. So
They
showed
had
up.
driving
Umbrellas.
They had umbrella. They had hats and slickers and
on,
gloves. They were
On
ready to
Saturday,
rock.
we just lucked out. We happened to catch like the eye of the storm or whatever. The time they came over to the time they
Yeah.
left was the only time it wasn't raining in Meridian. So it was
Wow.
perfect. He got to
God's
drive with the top
plan.
down, got to enjoy it properly. Like, and it was a guy and his dad.
Yep,
And his dad was
solid.
like retirement age, and he had owned an NC Miata and he had sold it and he really missed it. So it was like a father-son thing for them.
Yeah.
That's
And they found
adorable.
an NA and they're like, oh, it's cheap. And apparently this guy, he's kind of like, I wouldn't say he's like Anthony where he buys things and then figures out how he can like sell them again. But in this case, he's looking to like flip cars usually kind of thing. Apparently it's his deal. But he bought like an E30 and some other stuff too. But he was
love
looking
an
at my
E30.
car and he obviously had some interest in like fixing it up a little bit and then either keeping it or just moving on to the next thing. But he seemed like somebody who cared about cars and would actually treat it right. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is the kind of person I'd like it to go to. So we negotiated a little bit after he decided he liked it. And it was a little bit lower than the price I'd originally been asking. I was asking about $2,600 and he offered up $2,000, to which I said $2,200 and he did $2,100. And it was like, okay. And I said, I have 7 other people lined up to look at this car. But he was just like, okay, I got cash in hand, but I'm fine to wait. So he wasn't one of those people who's like, I'm going to hold this against you if you make me wait. He was like, okay, I'll be there on Monday in case, you know, whatever.
He wanted to
pay
get
that
it
amount.
for. He wanted it for 21.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. And the nice thing was he was a reasonable person, so he didn't take offense where I'm like, would you mind if I wait and see? And then I contact you on Monday. And if it's Monday and it hasn't sold yet, I will absolutely take you up on your offer. And that was nice. And it worked out great. So what I did was when the next person on Sunday flaked and didn't show up, shocking.
Pissed you off.
There were 2-3 others and they just didn't message back. So it's like, wow, a lot of people just don't follow up on this stuff. So I messaged the guy midday Sunday and just said, you know what? Rather than going through all this, crap, how about you come back over here and I will just take you up on that offer. And he said, great. So he came by, sold the car, and that's when you see my Instagram story of him driving off. So
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
nice.
Did he know you were recording him?
I told him, I was like, okay, I don't want this to seem weird, but
I am going to record you for posterity.
I basically do a lot of work with videos on the internet. Don't take
That's
that the wrong
not
way.
a good way to explain it, Dane.
I was like, I work in the auto detailing industry.
Hello,
Basically, it's a big
realtor.
deal that I'm selling these cars. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to record you guys as you leave.
I make a lot of
promise
videos
it's
on the
nothing
internet.
Weird.
Yep.
And he was
People
just
doing
like,
stuff.
no, that's okay.
Homemade.
Homemade amateur, so I'm just calling.
So basically, he just goes, no, dude, I totally get it. You're going to miss this car. You're going to miss your car. So I totally get it. So I'm just like, Instagram story. There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just nice. But what was funny was when he was looking at the Miata, he noticed the Volvo in my garage. He hadn't
2 for 1.
caught it.
Did he notice
didn't
the
know it
Jag,
was.
too?
He didn't notice me. Well, they saw the Jag because I pulled up after they got to my house. They got there before me.
Oh, so you got to do the grand
He
entrance.
planned
So when I
that.
rolled up,
Open the
he was
door,
just-
pull up in the Jag.
And I laughed because the
rev it up,
first thing out of his
pop
mouth
out.
was like,
They
"Oh,
catch
now
the
I see why
scent.
you're selling these."
They catch the scent.
Oh, he said you got the Aston Martin.
Yeah, no, there were a few people who confused it for an Aston
That's
this weekend.
okay.
Different stories. But
Different stories.
in this case, I rolled up and it was just like, oh, okay. It's like, I get why you're selling these. But at any rate, let's talk about the car.
Yeah.
Went for a drive. It was nice out. But while he was there, his dad and him both wanted to drive the car. So I just rode, shotgun on both of those.
You
but
just
while I
let
was
him
there,
drive it
yeah, I let him drive it.
together though.
No, not together.
Why?
I'm not
going
gonna.
to steal your car, Dane.
What car?
It was
They drove the
insured,
Jaguar?
but it was in that grace period of insurance. I just wanted to be present. Okay.
Okay. All right.
And I told him, I was like, you can drive it, hard, whatever you
You
want
let
to do.
them
I'm
drive the Jag?
no, the Miata.
Oh my God!
They're buying
I
the Miata. They're driving the Miata.
I thought you pulled up and they were like, "That's pretty fun. Can I drive that just for
no,
fun?"
were you guys?
I was like,
what?
"Are you on crack?"
No, no way in hell.
Sorry, I missed an important detail.
Wow. Okay, I thought you guys. Okay. Wow.
Dane.
What?
Oh, Dane, I was with you the whole
I was
time.
with you the
Oh.
whole time. My joke was that you let the dad and son each go for a ride with you in the Miata. And my thing was, why didn't you just let them take it out by themselves so that the two of them could
Because
talk
Dane
about it?
wanted to make sure that it was being driven properly.
Well, the problem
Well-
is, like, unlike other little cars, unlike other cars, that car would be an incredibly easy car for someone to steal. Like, the locks on it
if
don't
you-
do anything.
But Dane, all you do is go, yeah, can I see a picture of your driver's license? Let me snap a photo of this. Then you now have a copy of their driver's
And I
license.
did have
What if
that.
they had a fake license?
Yeah.
Well, that's when you get a picture of the car that they came in too.
I
So
had
you get both their licenses.
I had
They
all
can't
that
both have fake
information,
licenses.
but as a seller, I reserve the right
Well-
to decide how I sell my vehicle.
At the,
So
at the Great Dane car sales, stacking them deep and selling them cheap, Dane will ride in the car with you for your test drive.
The Mailroom LLC.
if I was at a dealership, I would let the car go by itself because I'd know I had plenty of insurance and all the other stuff as a dealership to handle any kind of loss that could happen.
Yeah,
from
but
that.
they'd be liable for it because they're driving the car.
Anyway,
But
so
any rate, I rode along just so I could give him notes about like, oh, that's this, that's that, as we're driving, so that
Yeah.
in real time
No,
I
I
could give him
understand.
point out like, okay, you'll notice there's this sound. What that means is this. Like it's basically
Oh.
just covering the bases, and they appreciate it because they're like, wow, you're so open and straightforward about the
Yeah.
cars you're selling. We really appreciate you giving a lot of information because the guy's very mechanically savvy. So he wanted to know that information. He really
Well, it's-
appreciated
like
it.
you said, that's one of the features of the Great Dane Auto Sales.
So I am a very honest car seller. But the point was, as one drove and I rode with him, the other was looking at the Volvo in the garage.
Yeah, you left
so
him
you
alone
really were thinking about
in the
us?
showroom.
Basically,
You left him alone
I
in
was
the
just like,
showroom.
yeah, you can check out the other
Some
cars.
coffee.
Well,
There's Christmas
turns
tree
out they
in
were
the front
genuinely
room there.
interested in buying it for a second there, but the guy had to get it past his wife, and his wife ended up saying no.
She put the thumbs down.
Yeah,
so the
gave him a
wife,
thumbs down.
what was she doing at the showroom while you were? guys were out?
she just sat in the car and didn't come out.
Okay, all right,
So whatever that is.
lovely.
But
Did you offer her coffee, donuts,
I offer
hot
water.
Capri
dogs?
Sun?
I offer
Sodas for the
water.
kids.
I offer water to
Hey,
anybody
that's better
that
than
buys
most
a car
people.
from
I'll take
me.
that. So, any rate,
There's a couch in there with a Christmas tree.
And Liz.
And Liz, if you want to.
okay.
Would you like to play some games?
No. I would not go into a stranger's house or like, you want to play some games? No. Any rate, that happened. Done, dealt with. I'm really going to miss that car. I almost teared up as it was leaving, but at the same time, like, I knew it was going someplace where it would actually go. But here's good old Dane. While I had cleared out the Volvo completely, knowing
ready
full
to
well that kid was about to buy it, I cleaned out the Miata, but I forgot to empty the glove box.
Ah, Jesus.
No,
And-
they found your gun.
I'm so lucky that this guy was a good, honest, good person.
They came back because there was something that
There was a
shouldn't have
$1,000
been
No,
there.
because half an hour after they left, I said, "Oh my God, I cleaned out the trunk. I cleaned out the center console. I cleaned out the coin tray. I did not even open the glove box because I kept the glove box locked. I never unlocked it because the thing with Miatas is, NAs, the glove box tends to fall open unless you lock it.
So what was in the glove box that was so important, Dane?
Blank checks.
Oh.
Among other things. I had forgotten
Your
because
checkbook.
because
Not
I
blank
get
checks. All signed? Already endorsed?
no.
Okay,
But
so just regular
basically,
checks.
He's like, just want to be ready.
I had done a brief trip in the Miata like a month prior where I went and got checks and then I totally forgot. Just I needed some checks at the time and I didn't have a checkbook. And
Yeah.
I don't use checks very often.
Right.
But
No,
for my
I know.
lawn
I'm the
mowing guy,
same.
he wants checks, so I'm like, okay.
Hold
So,
up.
Yes, I have a lawn mowing guy. Deal with it. Moving on.
Wait, Dane,
wait.
you have a lawnmower.
But Liz is home every day.
Wait, Dane, hold
Oh
on.
my
My wife
God.
mows the lawn.
We're not having
Oh
this
my
conversation.
God.
My wife
We're not
mows
having this
Dane's like,
conversation.
my lawn.
Dane, do you
Hammer
have a
down.
lawnmower?
Do you have a lawnmower?
Yes.
What does it do?
It mows the lawn sometimes, but
Does the-
when it
Hold on,
doesn't,
hold
which is
on.
often,
Oh, Dane, I'm
So
so
Dane's
sorry
got a
for what
Jag
you
now.
just did to yourself.
And he's got a
And a
lawnmower.
lawn guy.
they're just going to latch onto this.
And a lawn guy.
I am supporting a small business
functioning
and a guy
mailroom.
supporting his
And a
family.
fully functioning mailroom
No.
I'm
He's
supporting
reached that
a
level.
small business. People,
with
please.
a live-in lady friend that...
So I think that realistically, if you were to have a child that would lived in your neighborhood that mowed your lawn, throw him $10 to knock out.
Perfectly
each
understand.
lawn.
How old's your lawn guy?
He's in his 30s.
People have to make money
So that is,
somehow.
I am
that is a career.
supporting-
That is a man with a career.
That is a man with a career.
yeah.
Owns a
In
business.
So is this one of the ones who
'Kay,
he has
but
multiple
you know
Dane's a
what?
job
and can
creator.
put up,
Okay,
like,
so here's-
Christmas
so here-
lights,
so
he
here's
can
the
do
thing.
bushes, he can do it all.
So
Or
here's
the
the thing.
gutters.
But Dane, your
Not
grass
the gutters, but I
died.
did the other stuff.
But your grass got destroyed this
And then I
summer.
promptly fixed it after that trip.
With some
And then hired a
fertilizer.
lawn guy?
No, I've just had the lawn guy.
But then why was the lawn... How'd the lawn
He doesn't
die?
charge me unless he actually mows it.
So did he
on
ruin
the
the lawn?
times when there was no... It's not like the whole lawn was dead. It was chunks of it. Anyway, this is so off the path
confused.
of the conversation. My God.
We just learn a little more. A little bit more.
How
More
dare
every
I
day.
support a small business?
That's
How
what
dare
Dane's,
I?
Dane's
It's not
excuse
about
for the
supporting
maid.
Some
small
people pay
business.
for
When he
detailers.
gets the
Why?
maid-
Why
It's just-
detail when you
well,
can just
It's just
detail
funny.
it yourself?
It's just
Well,
funny,
I just
Dane.
see a
But-
I just see a
Because you have a whole
functioning-
Saturday
I
and
just
a Sunday
see-
to mow your lawn. You have
And
an
you know
evening
what?
after work to
And you
put
know
some
what?
headphones in and enjoy.
I'll be
Hell,
honest, Dane. If I lived in a house by myself, or even just with someone, and they weren't gonna mow the lawn, I would pay someone to mow the lawn too. I'm not gonna mow the lawn.
I'm not a green thumb. I can do that
But you don't
stuff.
have to be a green thumb to mow a lawn. You just push
No.
the mower.
God, no.
I don't
Okay.
even know how to
It cuts
start
the
a
grass.
lawnmower.
Okay, here's the
You
problem.
do it
is-
once a week. It's fairly simple. Dane, I'm going to ask that you get a different lawn guy.
Okay, so
find a 10 or 12-year-old child.
Here's the deal, Dane.
Say that.
I will mow your lawn.
Yeah,
right?
I'll come over too.
I am going to build
Levi
a
and
little
Anthony's-
trailer for my Grom.
Levi and Anthony's mowing service will come. We'll no mow too tough.
Yeah, no mo- dude.
Careful with that one. Oh no. Okay.
We'll bring our Honda
So-
lawnmowers,
Yeah.
Dane.
self-propelled
Oh
Honda
my
lawnmower.
What I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically take my Rupes, right, and I'm going to string on like some weed eater line
I like
and
it, yeah.
mow that
Just
way.
buff the grass. Yeah.
Buff the grass.
That would probably work.
Okay. So,
Anyway.
any rate,
This
I like
turned
how
out
Dane.
horribly.
I like how right when Dane mentioned the lawn guy, he's like, no.
He knew.
I
He
knew.
knew
He's
that
like-
you guys
I knew
were
what
gonna
was
go
coming.
off.
Like, what a
He
mistake.
immediately regretted
What a
it. He was like,
mistake
no,
I
no, no,
have
no, no, no.
made. Should have
I-
never said-
Oh God.
I fully understand that people are capable of mowing their
You're-
own lawns, and I do it. Some years I do that. Other years I just pay a lawnmower guy. Depends on how I'm feeling at the time.
Yeah.
Just does.
Okay,
So
makes sense.
yeah, handled that part. But
Faux show.
any rate, now there's room in the garage for.
So now
So
Dane only owns 4
So
vehicles.
was the Jag parked in that storm on Saturday? Was the Jag inside the garage?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Thank God.
Yeah,
Because that was
so-
bad.
All my
Yeah.
cars were parked outside during that storm.
Nothing
Fun.
happened.
No, they're cars.
Yeah,
What's gonna happen
I've
to
got
them in
I got a
storm?
lot of
where the trees fall and there's hail.
Nothing's gonna
Nothing.
happen to him.
It's
We're
Idaho.
gonna
We
have to look
tiny
into
hail.
maybe making a new water
my
spot
God.
video because the Jag, being a black car, definitely has. its
Well,
fair share
Dane, I
of it,
hope you
so.
I
can
think
get
it's
out
because
there.
those water spots.
Me and Anthony will grab a
Pre-installed.
camera.
They're pre-installed.
Covered.
Yeah, maybe. At any
Hey,
rate,
comment below if you want a video of Dane removing the water spots on
I want
his
a I want a
car.
video of Dane mowing his lawn.
Nobody
because
wants
he does
me-
stuff on
We
the
wanna
internet.
video
see
doing
you
anything.
He makes
doing
videos.
things.
He makes videos on the internet.
I make
He
the
makes
videos. You
amateur.
guys are my stars. I'm not
So,
the star.
well,
I didn't
I'm just
sign up
glad,
for that.
Dane. Seriously, I'm just glad that you sold the Miata.
Yeah,
That's
we're
awesome.
very happy for
Feels
you.
good to get rid of
Moral
that
the
one.
story.
Next, it'll
Now-
be great to sell the Volvo.
The
'cause that'll
Volvo's going to
nice-
be a hard sell. Like that's
But-
one of those cars. When the right person finds it, and the guy totally understood. He goes, "I understand what that car is. I
Yeah.
think your price is fair. I think all those things are good." He goes, "If I could have bought them both, I would have. But I gotta make sure
Yeah,
happy
well, you
wife,
never know.
happy
Maybe-
life."
That's
maybe
why I'm
in a
never
week,
getting
yeah.
married.
He talks her into it. You know,
Yeah,
you never know.
So anyway, he totally understood, and I was like, "It is hard to sell, but when the right person finds it, I know it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
It'll be all right."
Yeah,
He's like,
exactly.
"Totally get it. Good luck with sales." So did that, and then on Sunday evening, Liz and I went and saw the Joker movie. Finally, that was something.
Okay.
that was an intense movie. Really good, but yeah, no. Liz watched it and totally agreed. Like that is a movie you watch once.
Yeah.
And you're good after that. However, just me being like, film brain was like, oh, once you start to notice the things that are going on, you notice all the little Easter eggs that you saw earlier and didn't think anything about, but you know you're going to want to look back at that. So that would require repeat
Dane's gonna
viewings to
watch
really
it
enjoy.
more times.
But I will say, if you're somebody who has dealt with any kind of like, folks in the family or anybody with like mental illness, for real, not joking, but like for real, that movie hits extremely close to home.
Yeah, no,
Extremely.
I agree. I think there's a lot of points in that movie where it got really real, and to the point where you're just sitting there like, dang, if you may not have gone through something like that, right? It's more just the thought process of what goes through people's heads, right?
But I can't
And-
stress enough, it is really, really
Yeah.
good. It's just extremely unsettling, and it's like viewed through the lens of like a Scorsese movie. It's got that Taxi Driver feel. That
Well, and you have to see how he feels, but then how the people around him treat him, right?
Yeah.
And that's like you have to look at that. You have to look at that kind of I don't know, that relationship. But I think that I thought there were certain parts of the movie that were fun. That it's dark humor, but it's still humorous.
Yeah, no, there's moments of
areas-
humor, but the humor is extremely dark, and there's not nearly as much of it as you think there might be.
Yeah. And you feel bad for him throughout the whole movie, and it's weird because you feel bad for him, but then he acts out like that, and then you're like, well, does that justify the way he was treated?
And then part of it is like you remember, you're like, okay, there's a certain degree of mental illness. How much of that is rational response? How much of that is just their brain just messing up their life for them?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that. So it's a fascinating movie. I would highly recommend anybody go watch it. But for anybody who's really uncomfortable with that kind of subject matter, I would say it's one of the heavier movies I've watched like that. That wasn't like some small indie art house movie. For as big of a movie, as everybody knows about it as it is, it touches on some extremely dark stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's really good though.
Love it.
Cool, Dane. And Dixon Flannel released a flannel last week that looked a lot like that. It was
What
called
I
the
like.
Diamond.
Dane wore that on Friday when they released the.
That's right.
That.
Oh,
I knew
yeah,
I was going to be on camera again. I
We all
wanted to have
talked
my
about it.
nice.
Or the
wanna
nice.
go- you wanna
This
go
is
next?
called the Diamond.
Yeah, I meant.
That actually does not sound.
not
I
ugly.
cannot say that
Yeah.
again.
Anyway,
All right,
Levi,
so-
did
Where's
you do
the
any
D?
detailing
So,
this weekend?
thank you for asking, Morgan. Yeah, I did do some detailing this weekend.
Just keep going. Just don't stop.
I worked on a 2014 Honda Accord Coupe.
Ooh.
black.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow. Black soft Honda paint.
Black
is what I,
soft
is what
Honda
I hear.
paint.
Love it.
And so I used to attack this combo.
Yeah.
The customer likes to run it through the car wash. He's a wax hound, so he likes to wax it himself every once in a while.
I know those guys.
But he loves going through a car wash.
Yeah.
It's his favorite thing in the world.
I mean,
Pays-
I'm totally guilty of that, but I go touchless. Does he go brushless?
no,
or
he goes.
touchless?
He just goes to the car wash. Doesn't matter. He
It's
buys.
just fun. He
just loves it.
It just
He
loves.
likes specifically. He likes the Rocket Car
I
Wash.
knew it.
It's over by his
The worst
office.
one.
It's over by his office. Loves that place because of the colors, the lights. It's like an amusement ride for him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he drives that thing through the car wash once a week, twice a week sometimes.
That
always,
wash definitely touches your car, though.
Yeah.
always likes to keep
Definitely.
it really clean. And then this is the second time I've polished it for him. First time I just did a quick one-step in my shop because that's all he wanted to pay for. This time, though, there was some actual pretty decent scratching in the vehicle. So he wanted me to get as much as I could out and get it as good looking as possible for him. So I did a 2-step on it. Mostly, I charged him for a 1-step, but I did a 2-step mostly because I'm still trying to tackle the best way to hit that soft Honda. So for me, it was more of a learning experience and just trying to find a good mix with a lot of the different products that we get. Well, I had the Oberk system.
Nice.
The 1 Supreme Cut and Supreme Polish, number 2 polish.
Yeah.
I utilized, this is what I did. I did I washed it with O&R, I clayed it, and then it was called during the storm. It was much easier to just do that.
Yeah.
And then this is how I clean the inner fender wells. I sprayed them with the IK multi-sprayer with some O&R, used my trumpet gun, and blasted the inner fender wells.
Love that.
Because it's got the mats in the back, the matted
So you have
carpet.
encapsulated that dirt, and you have blown it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Then I washed the car with O&R, clayed the whole thing with the Ultra Clay Mitt.
Yeah.
Then dried it off, and then went over it all with the low-lint wool, Lake Country low-lint wool pad
Okay.
with Oberk Supreme Cut, and worked it till it was almost gone. So I
Pad.
used
You worked the pad until the pad was disappearing.
Worked the product until the product disappeared.
What year was this Honda again?
It's a 14.
Okay, so it's fairly new.
Ooh, but this is
really
going to shine up nice, though.
Yeah.
It's
So I
gonna be
worked it
nice.
till the pad, and then I cleaned the pad out, and then keep going on the same panel until I got a lot of the product residue off. Then I'd wipe it with a 365, and that was looking really
how's
great.
the wipe off with the product?
Really good. Really good.
So you're liking the Oberk
Oh, I
system.
really like
So
the
did you
Oberk setup.
tape the trim off on that?
No, I didn't have to. There wasn't any rubber trim on there that I needed to worry about, or
Nice.
texture trim.
That's good.
So I didn't have to tape anything. And then that was my test spot. Kind of worked it, and it was basically I had to work it until the product had kind of thinned itself out on the surface. Wiped it, then used their red foam, the red Oberk foam pad, which is like a Lake Country flat foam, but in red. And that's their finishing pad.
Okay.
Put the polish on there and worked it out, and then wiped it. And really, blew my mind once I got to that stage. In the video I guys sent you guys earlier, I used the one of the Rupes wool pads.
Yeah.
The dual density wool, and it didn't cut enough to what I wanted. So in that video there was still some light scratching and marring and stuff. So I switched to the low lint, and I was able to get more cut and better finishing out of that. So that helped a lot. So I just 2-stepped the whole thing, and then I wiped it all down. He had me do a couple little spots. He gave me some touch-up paint. I touched up a couple rock chips for him, and then dropped it back off at his house by about 4 o'clock for him. No rain, roads were dry.
Nice.
So it worked out really well. And then yesterday we kind of just hung out. Literally did nothing. My parents took the kids for a couple hours. Carly and I legit took a nap. An uninterrupted 2-hour nap.
Oh,
Wow.
Is that not like a normal thing?
It's not a normal thing when you have children.
Okay.
The children do not allow us to nap.
Why would
Is
they?
that their own rules?
That's
I mean,
boring.
they are
Okay.
children. So.
They need
boring.
things.
Okay.
Hey, I'm hungry. Hey, can I play the iPad? Hadley's hitting me.
Hey, it's been quiet for 30 seconds. I just thought I'd change that.
Hey, what are you guys doing? Yeah, they start yelling. We're trying to.
Yeah.
You usually get about 15 minutes. I was out.
It's fun. It's exciting. There's always a lot going on.
No, we were unconscious
You're never
for
bored.
2 hours.
You will miss it, Levi.
It was great. Then we got a couple new amenities at the MOS HQ.
Wow.
A new towel rack,
That
I
neat.
heard.
He did towel
Not a
rack?
new towel. I did that last weekend. Put a new
okay.
towel bar up in one of the many bathrooms.
Yeah.
Of
At
course.
the MOS HQ. And
Everything must shine.
yeah. So this was a feature that my wife was going to purchase for me for Christmas. Apparently, she had put the feeler out. She goes, "What about this? If we did something like this?" And I said, "That sounds great. I would love that. I'll start looking into it." Well, I purchased it because it was a good price.
Okay.
Arrived on Sunday.
Ooh.
Carly goes, "What's in that box?" I
Sunday
told her.
Sunday delivery.
Yeah.
Odd.
I said, "This is what I got because you said you wanted to get one of these. The price was good, so I thought, why not?"
Yeah.
She goes, "That was going to be your Christmas present." I said, "Oh, okay. Well,
You're a
Well, I
mistake.
could have used another one, but now it's all ruined. So.
well, it was just kind of one of those like, oh man." So now, if you come to the MOS HQ, I might interest you in a game of darts. So we now have a dart board and a dart setup.
I think that this is a good metal dartboard, right? Metal
It is a cork board.
cork,
very
so
thick.
cork, right? But are the needles metal?
Yes.
My favorite.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna
not
say, so
only-
they're nice and dangerous.
So not only can they
Yeah.
kill somebody if
Yeah.
you need to use them as a weapon, right?
Right.
But they're fun and very fast.
if
and
you
the
find
best
yourself
part-
in the Amazon,
Here's the best part. At the MOS HQ, the door into the main house locks from inside the garage.
Oh, great! So you don't have the kids running out.
So what I can do is I can lock the door, and it's a metal fire door, for
Yeah.
safety.
they ain't getting.
Well, you got to think about those things, Dane, when you've built
A detail shop.
Well, a facility such as the MOS HQ.
to keep children out. Got it.
No, it's to
Okay.
prevent fires and things spreading to the main house.
To keep children
it's a,
out. Yeah,
it's a
got
safety
it.
feature.
Yeah.
But this way, when throwing the darts, the door can remain locked so that no one opens the door mid-flight of a dart, because it is at the same trajectory.
You can just see
the eye
that going
level.
horribly wrong
Yeah.
if that wasn't the case. So.
Oh yeah, you could totally throw a dart at my kid when he opened the door.
So will this be able to ensure that the children won't be able to play?
It's 68 inches eye level, center of the bullseye, which is regulation. But it puts it up very high, so the kids
Yeah.
can't play with it. The kids have already requested a child-friendly version of darts to be installed in the upper floor of the
They have
MOS HQ.
Velcro versions that they can get.
Yes, that's what they want.
Yep.
So I remember as a kid, we had like a magnetic one, and they were just like
And
little.
do you know where you can buy those at? Cracker Barrel.
Oh, love
Magnetic.
it. Love it.
It probably was from Cracker Barrel, to be honest
I
with
love
you. My
that.
parents loved Cracker Barrel.
Well,
for
I like to
Christmas
support
toys.
local businesses
businesses.
like Cracker Barrel.
All of those people, Dane, there are local.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they all pay for
have- They all pay their local bills. They
their
all
local
pay
taxes,
local taxes. Yes. So,
local
Yeah.
mortgages.
and then a large percentage of that doesn't go to any of them at all. It
So,
goes to
Tim-
the
Well,
company.
Tim,
it
what-
goes to
what's
their
the-
paychecks,
what's the
Dane.
time
I
left
don't know
here
who
on the
pays
clock?
the rest of them. The local customers that come in.
we have
Oh,
we
9
have-
minutes
we have
left on the
9
clock.
minutes left. Do you want me to knock out the story?
We need
Can you do
Anthony's
it in
story.
10 minutes?
Okay, I can knock out the story.
Folks
So-
need to hear this because it is so out of left field.
So last week, Katie goes out to dinner with one of her friends. Right? She goes out to dinner, and comes home with 2 big boxes. Right? I say, "What's going on with these boxes?" Well, Anthony, my friend, came into these boxes through kind of an odd situation, and she needs you to sell these things, preferably on eBay or local or however you can sell them. And
Because you're Anthony Fisher and you're good at selling stuff.
and I say,
That's right.
okay, yeah. Well, first I'm like, yeah, why do you want me to do that? And she's like, well, because I told her you're good at selling things on eBay. And I said, okay, right. Backstory here: her friend, I'm not going to name names, went to a big music festival, met a very rich person, right? They exchanged numbers, didn't exchange anything else, just numbers. And for the last close to 2 years, he's been sending her things, very expensive things here in Idaho.
So he's
He-
one of those gift guys.
yeah, he lives somewhere in
Yeah.
California or Texas, and he gifts this girl some stuff all the time, right? New phone, new shoes, new purse. Every couple months, he'll say, hey, how are you doing? What do you need, right? She can even say, I don't need anything. And he says, hey, I'm going to send you that new iPad, right? And she says, okay, cool, right?
Like she is not invested in this.
No, not at all,
whatsoever.
right? So basically, she got these 2 items, these 2 big items, I don't know, several months ago, and she's been storing them in her house. She asked Katie, hey, can Anthony sell these things? Because here's the deal. I'm now in a relationship, and this is not going to look good to the guy that's in the relationship, and I need to cut this off, right? So Katie says, don't worry, Anthony can sell these things. She brings the boxes out of her car, and I see that they are massive
right.
boxes.
Well, thankfully, she drives a 4Runner, so they were
They
able
were
to fit,
stored, yeah.
able to fit.
Perfect.
Back
Perfectly.
seats down, no problem.
Absolutely. So I bring these heavy freaking boxes inside the house, and I'm scratching my head saying, do we know what's in this?
Like a
and she
foosball
says,
table or something.
she's like, no, but we can only assume that it's expensive.
Right.
And I said, okay, like how expensive? She's like, I have no idea. And I say, does your friend know what's in these boxes? And she says, no, she doesn't, but she did request that we send her pictures, so she has an idea. But regardless, whatever they are, they need to be sold. And I said, all right, this is the weirdest thing and the weirdest experience I've ever had to do, but okay. So first box I open up, it's a smaller box, a little bit lighter. I start tearing it open, and I find that the edge looks like what to be a framed picture of some sort, like a canvas picture. I continue to pull this thing out, and lo and behold, the first thing I see is Lil Wayne's face on this canvas picture, right? And I'm look at her, and I'm like, it's a picture of Lil Wayne? And she kind of laughs, and she's like, I don't know, like, pull out the rest of it, let's see what this is, right? As I continue to pull out of the box, the next person's face on the picture turns out to be Drake, right? And I'm like, so it is now I'm like, Lil Wayne, Drake, okay. And I'm looking at Katie like, is there a third rapper on this?
But why is
like,
there a picture here? Like, that's just
what
odd.
is this thing? And then I pull out the rest of the thing and come to find out that, yes, this is a signed and framed picture of Lil Wayne and Drake on the same
Can you
canvas.
stop saying Little Wayne? I need to say.
I'm not going to say Lil Wayne. I'm not going to say that.
Okay.
Wheezy? Can I just say Wheezy? Okay, so
CF,
okay.
baby.
Now that
Lil
it's
Wayne
established.
and Drake, right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
both on the
I
same
tried.
picture and signed. So I'm like, okay, is this a real thing? Lo and behold, you flip it over. There's the authentication number on the back, signed done by PSA, that it is a real photo.
Just in case you didn't believe.
So I'm looking at this thing. And I'm like, what? How do I sell this?
Yeah,
What is this even worth? How would I even do this? And she's laughing. She's dying laughing. She thinks it's the funniest thing. She's like, hold it up. I got to send a picture to her because this is just so weirdly crazy.
It's so specific. Like, there is not another. Like, sure, there are other signed pictures, but there's not another one like this. This is
No.
the only one of its kind.
Yeah. And so I'm looking, I'm like, I don't even know where to begin to sell this, right? Or how to sell this because this is like the level above rich.
This is like
that I
auction
thought.
house type
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
So
Although
obviously,
eBay is a decent platform for that kind of thing. You just got to be careful.
I mean, it's obviously going to be worth a lot to a collector or going to be worth a lot to somebody that's really into this kind of
But
stuff.
the number of people who are interested is a lot larger than the number of people who are interested and can afford it.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
Exactly. And so definitely a nice gift, right? And so I said, okay, cool. Let's set this aside, and now let's go into the bigger box. So the bigger box weighed 10 times more than that one did, and it was also 3 times as big. So I'm just sitting here scratching my head like, what in the heck could this even be? I start tearing it open. This thing had so much bubble wrap inside of it, I can't even begin to describe how much it had. It was insane. Tear it open, and I see a large casing. I start pulling the casing out, and it is a casing with glass on the front. Continue to pull it out, and I
So
see
fragile.
the edge of what looks to be a guitar. So I'm like, oh my God. I pull out the whole entire thing, and it is a shadow boxed guitar inside with the glass case on the front, black backdrop, and the guitar was broken though.
So this is like something you see like in a Hard Rock cafe or something.
Yeah, it was
kinda...
it was a broken guitar. The strings hanging off of it. The structure of the body was all dented in and bashed in.
So there's definitely a story.
But it was a Fender, right? And I look on the Fender and I see this what looks to be a child's signature and handwriting. So I'm like, what could this be? And it had a certification paper inside there. So I read this paper, and it says something along the lines of, this here is the, a Post Malone smash guitar sold at the Grammys auction, blah, 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 that goes to this charity event, right? So I'm sitting here, I'm like, wait, so hold on. So this is a guitar that Post Malone smashed, and then this was sold through the Grammys charity auction. I'm like, and it said Grammy nominee, Post Malone, blah, blah, blah on it. So I'm sitting here like, what in the actual...
So what was the actual sale of that guitar at the auction?
Actually is going on right now?
Because at this point, you were thinking you were going to have some items. They were going to be maybe worth like $100.
Yeah.
$200.
Yeah.
Some electronic thing or something or other.
So I'm looking at Katie like, not only is this massive, I don't know how to A, sell this, B, ship this, but this is Post Malone's guitar. That is a picture of Lil Wayne and Drake. Both of them are signed. And I'm joking around like, so we have 3 of some of the biggest rappers in the industry or hip-hop artists in the industry, right? If one of them dies in the next few years, these things are going to be worth tenfold, right? And that's pretty good odds. I mean, you got 3 guys.
You're just like, maybe
really
I'll wait.
putting their bodies through a lot of stuff.
Oh, God.
Do you sit on this stuff? But basically, it came down to her friend just wanted me to help sell it, and she said she would pay me a small commission for selling it. A piece of the pie, basically. So of course I'm down for it. I just need to find somebody that wants to buy a framed Post Malone smash guitar.
So if you are listening and you happen to know someone who A, is interested in this kind of stuff, and B, can actually afford it, reach out to Anthony, because
it's just so weird.
He doesn't know really where to start. Because, explain why you wouldn't necessarily use eBay. I understand where there's some hesitation.
So eBay is a little bit sketchy because I've had some situations where, and this is a thing, somebody could buy your item off of eBay, right? It could, A, get damaged in shipping, right? Hopefully you have shipping insurance.
Yeah.
Or B, they could be a jack.
Scammer.
A scammer, yeah. And basically what they'll do is they'll get this guitar or get this picture, and they will simply replace the item with something similar to it, right? They can go do something.
They'll get a cheap frame and some basic Lexan, and then get a cheap off-the-shelf guitar, smash it up a little bit in the right places, put it in the thing. Go to all that trouble and then give it back.
Yeah, and they could send
that's worth $50.
Oh, no, they could send it back and they say, a corner of this got damaged during shipping. I want my money back. And I'm going to receive it, and it's not going to be the same thing. And what they're going to do is they're going to file a claim with PayPal. And how this is going to work is PayPal, in PayPal's eyes, the buyer's always right. Mm-hmm. So that guy would get a refund, right? I would get totally screwed, maybe outside of shipping damage, right?
Yeah. And that guy would have the thing you gave him.
And he would have not only his money, but he would have the item, and that would be the problem with that. Now, this has happened to me before with car parts. That's why I'm saying this specific thing. I don't know in bigger ticket items if this would be the same thing. I am not sure.
Well,
but
PayPal
I also
would insure some of that, I would assume.
But I also can't think of any other way that this would be sold unless I did go above and beyond and pay for an insurance policy on an item or something like that to say that, hey, I'm paid this much to know that this is going to be the real item that they're receiving.
When you get to this level of stuff, it's worth thinking about at least.
So, anyways, needless to say, I already feel sketched out that I have this stuff.
So the fun thing is you've got a Dane Hennen flush with cash from the sale of a Miata.
Yeah.
I have no use for those items. I think they're cool, but I got
they would look
really great.
Dane, it's an investment opportunity.
It's an investment.
Think about if one of them were to pass and how much that would be worth then.
That's all we're saying.
You got Drake and Lil Wayne in the same picture, signed, Dane. Signed. That's amazing. So,
do you remember what the guitar went for at auction when it sold? Or
yes, it was over $4,000.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
See, and he's got that Miata money.
It's several Honda Civics for the guitar. So,
You'll take four Honda Civics.
Basically,
I would absolutely take 4 Honda
if
Civics.
Anthony can manage to sell these things, I would expect to see a new car or bike at some point in his garage.
Well, no, he's going to sell them, and he's going to make
I'm getting a small percentage on this. Basically, if I can make a couple $100, right, I would be pretty happy.
Oh, so you're not going 50-50 because you're doing all the work.
No, I'm hoping it's easier to do this work. And I was sitting there like, could I find somebody local? I'm like, first off, nobody in Boise.
The likelihood you find someone who's local and...
If I took a trip down to California, I guarantee I could probably sell it in a weekend.
Yeah.
But, so oddball items. If you guys know anybody looking to buy some Post Malone or Lil Wayne and Drake merch,
Anthony at theragcompany.com.
Shoot me an email.
He genuinely needs help figuring out who would buy these things.
Let's talk. But anyways, hopefully you enjoyed the story. I thought that was super odd, and it is kind of hilarious. So all right. Well, I guess that pretty much wraps it up, Dane.
Okay. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. As always, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Rag Company YouTube channel and the Rag Company podcast YouTube channel. There are 2 different channels, and we want you subscribe to both of them and click the bell so you know when we release new stuff. Now, if you're listening to this on a podcast, make sure you tell someone else who may be interested in detailing podcasts or just our very specific niche brand of whatever it is we do here, and tell them about it. We really appreciate that. And also, leave us a review. That's a very important thing. That gets us in front of more people, even if you don't have somebody to recommend us to. You could do it that way. We really appreciate it. All right.
There we go.
With all that said, this is us leaving. Adios.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.